Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and drop a like on this video. I'm trying to hit 100k subscribers on the channel by the end of the year, so your subscription will be much appreciated. I'll drop a like on this video, it only takes 1 second, it makes a massive difference. Quick intro, I changed my shirt because I was hot, so that's why it's a different shirt now. So I had to paint, so didn't want to get it on my nicer shirt than this. Warriors versus Lakers, that game was just played. If you want to see my takes on the Nets versus the Milwaukee Bucks, that video was uploaded like halfway through the second quarter because I completely forgot to actually press upload. I did everything else and then didn't press upload after it was done, so it made the video perform horribly because the game was going on in the middle of it. But if you haven't watched that video yet, go do that. This video I'm talking exclusively about Warriors versus Lakers. So of course, this is the debut for Russell Westbrook with the Lakers in a regular season game, that is, and he played terribly. So not a good start. I'm not going to make the title about him because I've already talked about him pretty much at length in terms of how he played in the preseason, so I'm just going to leave that alone for now. I'm sure there will be other people who will make that their title or whatever, but I've already talked about it a couple of times. I'm going to mainly focus on the Warrior side of things here, at least for a good, I mean, it would probably be more 50-50 actually, but more so than you would think, being that the Lakers are the team that has had so much roster turnover. But I made note of Westbrook in this game in particular, and one play that I really liked that I do want to point out, just to start on a positive note, is there was a play where Westbrook was on the low block and AD cut for a layup, and that was a really good play, and I hope they do that again. After that, though, is mostly negative things. I did put, and I don't like doing game notes necessarily, but every once in a while I will do it if there's stuff that I want to make sure I don't forget. At the start of the game, there was a Westbrook catch and shoot three-pointer. He did not make it, but it was a shot that I'm like, okay, I'm cool with Russ taking that shot. So that was interesting to see. But for the Lakers outside of that, I put, why the fuck is DeAndre Jordan starting? Pretty much everybody and their mother was scratching their head at that. Not only is it dumb to start a center alongside Anthony Davis, but it's even dumber to start one that's not even the best center on your roster. Why would you not just start Dwight Howard? So that was stupid. LeBron, this is a positive note, shooting a lot of threes and shooting a lot of mid-range shots. LeBron finished this game with 34 points on 13 for 23 shooting. He shot 11 three-pointers. And one of my predictions for this season for the Lakers was LeBron would average the most three-point attempts of his career. And in his first game, he puts up 11 threes. Also shot 45% on those, so that's pretty damn nice. Those 5 three-pointers, and I'd say he hit at least 5 mid-range shots in this game. He had the one dunk, and I think he got it. Did he get a putback layup? Am I crazy for thinking he got a putback layup? I don't know. It says he has an offensive rebound, so maybe he did, and I don't know. But of those 13 baskets, I think at least like 10 of them were jump shots. This is a very interesting LeBron game because he was just getting mid-range pull-ups, a few out of the face-up. I think he hit a fadeaway. All the three-pointers. I think one of his three-pointers was a step back. A whole lot of jump shots for him. Fantastic game from LeBron. Anthony Davis, he had a pretty damn good game himself. It wasn't outstanding, but it was definitely good. He had 33 and 11, and the efficiency was good. It was just, you know, to be clear, he had a good game. It just wasn't like holy shit, because Anthony Davis isn't, you know, he's prone to the holy shit games, and it's just a good Anthony Davis game. So the fact that you had those two performances from LeBron and AD and they still lost the game is a testament to how little value was brought upon by anybody else on the team. Malik Monk played fine in the minutes that he got. Dwight Howard played fine and should have played more. Carmelo Anthony was okay. He had a really cool three-pointer at the end of the second quarter, but yeah, he took a couple of like pull-up mid-range shots, which you don't love, and yeah, just not the best debut for him. DeAndre Jordan was bad, as you would expect, because DeAndre Jordan is bad, but at least he only played 13 minutes actually starting at center. When the team was, the first quarter, the Warriors had a pretty sizable advantage. or at least like halfway through the first. The run I'm thinking of might have happened during the first, late, or in the second quarter, but the Lakers started to go on a bit of a run to turn the tides of the game in their favor in that period of time, and that was because Anthony Davis was playing center. One thing they were doing that was really questionable to me was they were running lineups with Russell Westbrook and Rajon Rondo playing together. Now, I understand playing Rondo and Westbrook with LeBron to get a secondary playmaker of LeBron, with LeBron. But why would you put two non-shooting point guards out there? Two guys who really are just... Rondo is an okay three-point shooter. He's not a good one, but, you know, low volume, passable percentages. But not a good shooter. Westbrook, not a good shooter. They don't play off ball well, either of them. I don't think they should see a single minute together. And if that means Rondo is barely a rotation player, who cares? He's on like a minimum contract, and he's not nearly your most important player coming off of the bench or anything like that. So do not love that. I also don't love... I think Malik Monk was on a minutes restriction. Nothing said that, but the fact that he played 18 minutes and there was like injury concern stuff, I would hope that that's the reason why he played so little, because otherwise, massive miscalculation by Frank Vogel. But yeah, just the everybody else outside of LeBron and AD really did not bring it today. And you know, Kent Bazemore went 2 for 8 from outside and took a couple of questionable shots because that's what Kent Bazemore does. A while ago, I made a tweet complaining about him doing that, and a bunch of Warriors fans confused me as a Lakers fan. They're like, oh, look, they're complaining about him already. I was bitching about Kent Bazemore when he was on the Hawks after he got his contract extension. He was doing that too much. Going over to the Warriors side of things, this is an interesting game because while the Lakers' 2 best players played really well and lost, the Warriors' 2 best players... Jordan Poole ended up having a good game, so I won't even say he played bad, but Steph Curry played bad. Well, also it's worth mentioning Draymond Green is actually the Warriors' 2nd best player, but you know, 2nd best scorer. But Steph, even though he had a triple-double, he was 5 for 21 from the field, 4 turnovers, which is fine, but not great. But Curry's efficiency was not good. 2 for 8 from outside. My friend Noah Terranova from Twitter and YouTube, if you know him, he made a joke that Curry had a Russell Westbrook-esque stat line where he had the triple-double, but his efficiency was awful. Draymond Green, I want to give credit to him, and I made a note of this in my game notes. Draymond was really effective in the pick and roll in this game. He went for a floater reminiscent of the Grizzlies one that he missed over Anthony Davis, and I was like, come on, Doc, you can't be doing this. It was the Grizzlies game where he did that. It was either that or, I know it was a play-in game. I'm pretty sure it was the Grizzlies game. But missed the floater, which I thought was funny. But he had a couple of layups where he made the nice drive. He had a couple of passes out of the pick and roll, one of which was a lob to Kevon Looney that stands out in particular. He always does that on the short roll with Steph where he just finds the guy in the dunker spot for the lob. So he was good in that respect. And then Jordan Poole, horrible in the first half. I don't know what his efficiency was, but it was not good. But second half, his jump shot really came around, had a couple of nice drives, hit one really deep three-pointer, and then proceeded to take an even deeper one on the next possession. And that was like a heat check. But regardless, very, very, very different game between the halves. And then one last noteworthy thing for the Warriors. Both Damian Lee and Nemanja Bjelica, both of them played great. Bjelica was hitting his shots. He was taking nice drives off of the dribble. He was making passes, of which many of them went to Damian Lee, which is why I highlight him as well. They both finished with 15 points, but Bjelica had 11 rebounds and 4 assists in 25 minutes and shot 6 for 7 from the field. So really, really good game from him. Made nice passes, attacking off of the catch, stuff like that. Just appreciated what he brought to the table for them. Andre Iguodala also played good. He did take a completely unnecessary step back three that he could have just did a catch and shoot, and he's like made it a step back for no reason. But other than that, good game from him. In terms of what to read into with these games, and I'm going to be saying this a lot, not much. Was Wayne Ellington injured? Because I find it interesting that he did not play. I got to imagine that was the case. But anyways, the Warriors, with a struggling Steph Curry, beat the Lakers, who did have a struggling Russell Westbrook, but their two best players came to play. So what's the takeaway there? I would probably lean towards the Warriors are like a good team. Like, especially because they added the depth, and then Jordan Poole is breaking out, and their team last year was a lot better in the second half of the season than the first. I am relatively confident that the Warriors are going to be a playoff team without Klay Thompson, and then when you add Klay Thompson factoring in, that's going to make them solidly, easily like a top 5 seed, or at least the 5th seed in the conference. Where's where I'm trying to get to a point. I'm doing ums and ands and all that. But the point is, the Warriors are a good team without Klay Thompson. I think Klay is going to be the factor that makes them a great team. Initially, people were acting like, the Warriors were a bad team and Klay was going to make them a great team. And I was like, I think that's a leap. But now that I'm pretty confident the Warriors are a good team, that's definitely well within the realm of possibility that it takes a good team to great. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this game. There's nothing too extraordinary happened in either of these two games. It was just a pretty kind of standard expectation for both of these teams. For tomorrow, likely the only game I'm going to react to is going to be the Bulls game, and that's not because that's what I'd want to do, but I am freshly moved out of my parents' house, and I want to watch the Bulls game with my dad, who is a Bulls fan, at their place. So it's a 40-minute drive between the houses. I'm going to watch that game, and then I'll be recording the post-game recap an hour after. So is what it is. Unfortunate that is the way it is, but I just said that twice for no reason. Whatever. That is it. Again, go check out the Bucks Nets video, but that is it. Goodbye.